Hi there, long time. Um, I'm here to talk about two concepts: astrology of infection, behind this infection, and second is the infection itself. So, here we are, my favorite way of illustration. This is our good old Earth, and we are surrounded by planets and several other moving energies like comets and asteroids. And what we know as constellations are further apart. So let's just see this particular place, Earth, uh, as the lowermost rung, or where action is taking place. It resembles the Colosseum that we had in Roman Empire, where gladiators used to fight. So this is where the real action is taking place. The first few rows, excuse me, are occupied by planets and comets and asteroids, and beyond in the outer space are clusters of stars that make a certain pattern, what we know as constellations. And every month, when sun faces a certain constellation, that particular constellation becomes active. It's pretty much like a curved sliding door. So that sliding door opens in that particular month, and the energies that come flowing out of that constellation, they carry a certain tendencies. They have a certain electromagnetic field, which when enters Earth's atmosphere, and um, after it affects the living beings, they make the tendencies in the same way. For example, it's the Virgo season going on. So excuse me. So when the constellation which rules Virgo sign, it opens up, all the energies that flow out from that particular portal after encountering all the planets, all the celestial entities, when they reach Earth, the way it affects the beings would be to make them more service oriented or meticulous, and so on and so forth. However, we know, I'm just giving a small detour, that the coronavirus came into light in the month of December last year. Apparently, I'm not a knower of astrology in the real deep way. I just know the superficial things. So there were certain placements of planets that turned that light into something malignant. So when that light entered Earth's atmosphere, this is what happened. When light enters Earth, it obviously encounters several different gases. Hydrogen being the first because it's the lightest, then nitrogen, then we have oxygen molecule, and then finally the most dense is the carbon dioxide, which is quite close to the Earth's surface. At certain points in the atmosphere, there are places where they find empty little packs. So the free flowing energy waves, they get trapped in those empty packs. What are these empty packs? Obviously, it's a combination of nitrogen and hydrogen, as we know it, the amino acids, organic amino acids, and then covering of lipids. So they get trapped and they become microbes. Now, if the light that enters Earth is favorable, those microbes will not adversely affect the living beings living on Earth. And vice versa is also true. If the light that enters Earth is not favorable, you have microbes that would adversely affect the living beings. And now, talking a little more about these empty packs. But before that, this light doesn't stop here. It even enters, it hits Earth and all the living beings that live on Earth's surface, like the animals, humans, plants, everyone, and this light passes through all living beings. If it finds empty little packs, they'll get trapped into it. Otherwise, they'll flow through it as though they percolate through the living beings and get on to the other side. Let's just see those little packs as entrapment of energy, and pretty much like viruses that come into actual living mode only after they enter something living. Otherwise they behave as non-living, right? Pretty much like that. And pretty much like seeds, they are nothing but non-living pieces of matter. But when they find favorable environment, they sprout. And so is the case with that pack of energy, which carries with itself a certain tendency. But when it finds that let's say here is a woman who's expecting, and she has this small little empty pack of amino acid and fatty acids, and when light passes through it, it gets entrapped into it. Now, as soon as it gets entrapped into it, the tendencies, just like the software, pretty much like a software, they'll start manifesting themselves. So it's just not the virus, but also the seeds and also the soul, as we know it in popular lingo. They also unfold, unpack, unfurl, only if they find a favorable place to stay. Alright, this is pretty much it. I'm not going to talk about this particular thing any longer. I'm going to talk about something which is more connected to the flu, because I was down with flu myself. I'm not sure whether it was this one or some other flu, but I self-quarantined myself and started doing research about things, and I found that all those places that have successfully managed spread of infection, they were following containment. They were following containment not only on papers but in reality. You can't just say that it's a lockdown period and the rules are not followed. I was in Mumbai until a few days back. A metro like that should not have been so lax in following the rules and regulation. And when I came back to Madhya Pradesh, where I stay, or at least I'm staying now for the moment, containment wasn't perfect. It's better than Mumbai though. Yet since it is a drier place, it is less humid, higher temperatures it has, so it's naturally a more favorable place for the infections not to spread. So if you want that without any doing, you get rid of infection, you are naturally in a favorable place. If your place is less humid, it is drier, it has higher temperature. However, containment is not enough. Though it is very effective, as places like Kerala and Sikkim have shown, they actually followed all the rules of containment, and so was the case with New Zealand, a success story. UK, they actually followed it. They controlled the spread of infection. What is next most important thing is mitigation. Remove all those causes that prove to be conducive in spread of infection. You have to have more oxygen in the air so that the body's existing healthy cells find it easier to fight the malignant cells, the cells that have been infected by the virus. Not too much oxygen is good for the body because we reach our end easier. Only 21% is more than enough. Is is sufficient. Between 19 and 21% is enough, and that's why atmosphere has 21% of oxygen, because beyond that we won't be able to handle. So that's that. How could oxygen be increased in the city? You just can't bank upon lesser pollution, which is the side effect of lockdown period. You have to plant more trees, and especially those plants that give out oxygen even during night time. That is snake plant, the money plant, and so on. So oxygen level could have been increased for, and this is something that needed active efforts of people, of the administration, of people, and things could have been more in control. More polluted places have higher risk of people succumbing to the infection. All those places that do not have good speed of wind, they need to have greater ventilation at home. Either have better ventilation, or install exhaust fans, so that molds and bacteria do not grow, do not multiply. Then consume more alkaline food. Now, food that leave alkaline ashes are all fresh fruits, nothing heavy, no processed food. So this is pretty much it I wanted to talk about. Yeah, now personal bit. I was down with flu, as I just spoke about, and when I shifted myself to the balcony region for a greater part of the day, I found that recuperation was faster, because I have a lot of trees around my place, so there was greater access to oxygen. All those people who do not have such a lush green environment around themselves, please stay in better ventilated place, so that the healthy cells in the body, they are strengthened to fight the infection. I guess that's pretty much it. Bye.